Well, guys, Raw's finished. And it's time to start training. Let's roll the montage.
To win till you die, till the light that's in your eyes. Live to win, take it all. Just keep fighting till you fall. Obsessive.
Thank God. Oh, we haven't started the review yet. Oh, good. Terminator NJ. You'll never guess what I've been doing. I've been training. Been training so I can defeat you and get my best friend Bray Wyatt back. How do you like that? Oh, I don't intimidate you, do I? Alright, let's do this review then, shall we? Let's do this damn review. Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Raw review of us, the British Fist. I didn't think you'd do that. Mr. Parkin here, Terminator NJ here for this go-home show edition of Raw. Subscribe up above, like this video, comment your thoughts on this edition of Raw down in the comment section below. You're just going to go through the whole video giving me nothing to go on. I guess you are. I guess I'll have to carry this video again. So this edition of Raw was the go-home show edition, as you can tell by the fact we have Terminator NJ here. By the way, you can go follow Terminator NJ on Twitter, go like him on Facebook, and go subscribe to him on YouTube if you would like to do. I was contractually obliged to say that. All the links will be in the description box down below. So this Monday night edition of Raw, the crowd tonight was freaking awful. Like, you could hear a freaking pin drop in that audience. It's almost like a certain... someone went in there and did something... Never mind.
The crowd needed something really big to get them going, and no one on this show provided that for us.
But I know one person that could have done it. NJ. He could have definitely provided that for the crowd tonight. Anyway, let's get down with the opener. Ray and Sin Cara versus Team Rhodes Scholars in the Tag Team Tournament Finals. It was very nice to see WWE start off with a match rather than like a 20-minute promo. It was just a different feel to the show. Ray got better, and no reaction for Sin Cara. Are you really surprised?
With these two math wrestlers, I'm not surprised that one of them, if not both of them, didn't get a positive reaction. Who cares if Ray was ill and he came back? He should have stayed far away from the WWE.
Okay, fair enough. The match itself was quite a solid match. It went about 11.5 minutes with an advert in there. There was a really nice spot, actually, when you had the referee about to count for 3 and Damien Sandow blocks the referee from counting. Oh, that is so 1990s, and that allows Rhodes to get the victory. Hell no, eh?
Well, with the heels getting the win here, it's definitely what we wanted to see. We want to see them looking strong, but with the faces not being there, or Rey Mysterio not being there, and they gave the heels the win. What clever booking the WWE gave us there.
Yeah, I know. It's actually quite competent booking, isn't it? Letting the heels get the victory. And we now have the match set for the tag team title match set from this tournament with the weeks and weeks of build they've given this. So, in my opinion, a nice way to start off the show. A nice match to start us off, rather than a damn CM Punk 20-minute promo, which is starting to get stale.
Well, instead of a big cliffhanger that we didn't really get last week, it was good to open with something that was going to get the fans going and the show going.
Yes, indeed. And after that, we had Kofi Kingston versus Michael McGillicutty. Your opinions on Michael McGillicutty? Is he a worthless mortal?
If I knew who he was, I would make more comments.
Okay, he's Mr. Perfect's son. Do you know who Mr. Perfect is? The WWE Hall of Famer? Okay, you do, but you don't have any comments on that one. Kofi Kingston versus Michael McGillicutty was essentially a squash match now. I guess one question I have here is Kofi winning the IC title on main event. Do you guys agree with it? Is it a good or bad idea? Discuss down below your thoughts.
The IC belt is absolutely worthless. It tries to be brought up, but it cannot stay where it is or where it should be. So that belt is nothing in the WWE right now.
I still want one, though. I think they're pretty cool. Miz on commentary as well, providing his very unique insight. And so these guys, you know, this is all leading to a Miz versus Kofi match, which you've seen on free TV, which you've seen on the main event. So it's to make Kofi Kingston look strong going into the pay-per-view. So... yeah, kind of an okay segment, really, if you look at it overall.
The importance of this Raw was to give us enough hype for the pay-per-view. Did this give us enough hype? Michael McGillicutty in a match out of nowhere, not really a strong competitor for Kofi? No, it did not. Worthless mortal.
Words of Terminator NJ there. Next up, we had a John Cena promo, and NJ would have loved seeing this one. you know, apparently, I've heard on Twitter that this is apparently when the American football kicks off, which is why WWE decided to pump Cena and CM Punk into another segment. I mean, you basically have John Cena going out there providing what seemed like an advert for Hell in a Cell, or Hell in the Cell, as he likes to call it, and also bigging up Ryback a little bit. Out comes CM Punk, who talks some drivel for a little bit. Yes, that's right, guys. I said CM Punk talks some damn drivel, and it gets to the point where John Cena challenges him to come in the ring, but to try and get some heel heat, Punk doesn't decide to go in the ring.
Of all the wrestlers in the WWE, they're using John Cena to put over Ryback because no one else is at a place where they can put over a future star. So instead of Cena losing matches to people, he has to do it through his verbal voice. And it's absolutely stupid. And Ryback versus Punk for the main event of Hell in a Cell. Don't make me laugh!
So I take it you're not a fan of Ryback then?
He has nothing over me.
Fair enough. After that, we had Antonio Cesaro versus Justin Gabriel. My question here, it looks like they're trying to set up a Justin Gabriel-Antonio Cesaro feud, but if that was the case, why did we see Gabriel lose clean to Cesaro a week ago? I'm just saying, it's just lack of consistency in WWE's booking. So by WWE logic, Gabriel wins, and now we have a match which will probably be pre-show at the pay-per-view.
Even though we have a good performing Gabriel, this match did not bother me one single bit. There was nothing to this match. Both are worthless mortals. And yes, it could be a pre-show match, because this match means nothing.
So still not a fan of the way they're booking Antonio Cesaro right now and the US title as a whole?
Who?
I think that pretty much says, all you internet nerds out there may ask, oh my god, how come Terminator Entry doesn't know about Claudio Castagnoli? But if they don't make us care about him, then I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. Vince and AJ Lee then came out for a second. We had news earlier in the day that apparently AJ Lee had a meeting with the board of directors, and it turns out that AJ Lee was having an affair. Ladies and gentlemen, nope, not with me, not with the great Mr. Parkin. No, she's having an affair with some random superstar, and she resigns as the GM of Raw due to allegations made against her. And the crowd popped for this, and I'm not surprised because, let's face it, AJ as GM just was never a good idea and was always going to fail, wasn't it?
AJ got the reaction that she wanted as she continued her promo, but the thing is, we do not need her as the GM. We need someone that can stand out, bring us entertainment, and bring us great quality matches and moments, which I could provide.
Terminator for GM, let's promote that one on Twitter, guys. It's not very often I get behind Terminator NJ, but I'd rather him be the GM than the person who is going to be the GM from now on, and that is none other than Paul Heyman! No, because that would be giving the fans what they might want. So Vicky Guerrero is now the managing supervisor of Raw, a position which Vince McMahon said himself that he had no idea what it was. Great managing there, Vince McMahon, of your company.
With Paul Heyman as the GM, that would have been a stronger thing. We would have got Lesnar looking more important than he would have done if he comes back and dares to come back. And then we have him who could stand there, put CM Punk in a higher place. It would have worked out so much if Heyman became the GM, but instead we got Vicky Guerrero, the person that no one wants to see on the mic, in the ring, or doing anything at all in the WWE.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, I'll stop. Sheamus versus CM Punk is then announced as our main event in the world's biggest lumberjack match later on, because I think that was supposed to be a massive selling point for the main event. You then get AJ and Vicky Guerrero staring off at each other in the ring, and AJ unloads on Vicky as she did a couple of months ago, and then like we learned about AJ having an affair, which we'd learn a little bit more about later on in the night, guys. And it wasn't with me. Spoiler alert. We then go on to Ryback versus Miz. You know, Ryback apparently on a house show botched his finishing maneuver on Paul Heyman, and everyone's been bitching about it. And if it was a guy like Dolph Ziggler or a CM Punk or a Daniel Bryan botching his finisher, you'd hear nothing about it. But because it's a guy like Ryback, who a lot of the people on the internet are not really wanting to get behind, everyone bitches about it, including, you know, certain people on the internet. So what my question is, why the hate for Ryback, guys? I mean, come on, give the guy a freaking chance. We need new baby faces in the main event scene in WWE. Let's get behind this freaking guy, because he's one of the only fucking things we've got in the WWE that can actually go ahead of John Cena. So come on, guys, let's get behind Ryback.
As much as Ryback was meant to be the importance of this match, we've had The Miz, an ex-WWE champion, ex-must-see WWE champion, Intercontinental champion, and right now he's jobbing, he's losing, he's doing nothing for the WWE. So the booking for The Miz is absolutely awful, but Ryback, feed me more.
WWE may just do that. You never know, Terminator NJ. I guess I didn't have a problem with the way they did this match. They made Ryback look very strong. I guess my only question is, does it have to come at the expense of the #1 contender to the Intercontinental Championship? It's another good example of WWE kind of burying their mid-card. They just had Miz lose to Orton on, I believe it was SmackDown clean. Guys, WWE, try not to make your mid-cards look like shit. Why do we... And we only have the Attitude Era to thank for it, really, in the sense that in the Attitude Era we had to make superstar versus superstar matches, so each of them had to try and get over, and then, you know, it's just ridiculous in my opinion. Why do WWE also have to get the heels to be part of the Be a Star campaign? That's like us on the British Fist here making a Be a Star campaign and having you the damn spokesman of it. It's just not something that you would do.
The thing about this, bullying should be allowed in the WWE. We need the bullies back. We need the big stars like Triple H. We need the big stars like Randy Orton being a strong heel. So all this bullying stuff needs to stop.
Yeah, you could... can you stop bullying me? I mean, that would be nice if you could give me back Terminator... not Terminator NJ. It would be nice if you could give me back Bray Wyatt, please, and stop bullying me.
His screams that he has right now are giving me such a good feeling inside, so no.
Remember Terminator NJ? Be a star. I'm just saying. Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler was our next match on this edition of Raw. Internet nerds jizzed simultaneously as this match started. You know, as you'd expect from Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler, they've had many good matches in the past. This was no different. It was a pretty good match between these two. One of the better matches we've seen on Raw for the last couple of months. You had Kane coming down to the ring to be cheerleader for Daniel Bryan, and he accidentally distracts him to allow Ziggler to get the win. Wow, what a novel concept. A Money in the Bank winner, without a feud, going into Hell in a Cell, getting a victory over a former Money in the Bank winner. Eh? He's Dolph Ziggler getting a victory, finally.
They're teasing the fact that Kane and Daniel Bryan are eventually going to fall out, but the thing that Ziggler gets a win... Yes, it was because of a distraction, but Ziggler picking him a win is what the WWE need to offer us. So this match was okay for that aspect, and the match was quality for Raw.
Yeah, indeed. For free TV, it was a very good match. And I do wonder now, with Vicky Guerrero in a managing supervisor role on Raw, with Dolph Ziggler mainly being featured on SmackDown as the World Heavyweight Champion, Money in the Bank briefcase holder, will they now give Dolph Ziggler another manager? Maybe a woo! Ric Flair, possibly?
I personally think that Ziggler does not need a manager. He needs to go off on his own and prove that he can survive on his own without Vicky or absolutely anyone, like an old-timer, an old man, a crippled old man, a guy that should stay away from the rest of the business, being Ric Flair.
A legend in the wrestling business. 18-time World Heavyweight Champion, Hall of Famer, part of the Four Horsemen. Just saying, Terminator NJ, know your history. Then after this match, we went from great match to the newly tag game, with taking a little spin off the newlywed game. And we had Matt Striker doing this with Team Hell No. I know a lot of people will probably say this was like complete and utter shit, and I can kind of understand why you think that. You know, you of course. But I thought this was actually really entertaining. I really did. And in fact, you had Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes just mocking the whole thing, as they probably should have, coming out on the mic. It was gold, in my opinion. This was a really entertaining segment. I really did think it was.
For you wordless mortals out there, I like puppy dogs and rainbows. Hell no!
Do you really? Oh, I get it now. Sorry, it was supposed to be a joke. Big Show versus Kane was after this. Yeah, we haven't seen this match a couple of times, many times in the past before. But yeah, it was your typical big man match. It was quite slow, but you have to expect that from big man matches. So I'm not really going to put this down too much. In the end, you had Big Show getting the victory after Kane was distracted by the Rose Scholars. That allowed the Rose Scholars to come down the ramp and pretty much kick the shit out of Daniel Bryan. So they're allowing the heels to get over on the babyface tag team champions, hyping up that match for Hell in a Cell while giving Big Show a much needed win.
A big fiery monster. Every time he plays the Big Show now, he loses. What the hell are the WWE doing with this booking? And plus, Daniel Bryan's not having a good night. Well, I don't really care. He can continue to have bad nights, that worthless mortal.
A worthless goat-faced mortal, indeed. And apparently, also, guess who had the affair with John Cena, Terminator NJ? You'll never guess.
With who?
With John Cena. It was none other than AJ. I said that the wrong way around, didn't I? What a terrible botch by me. I meant to say, for the dramatic pause, who was the person that AJ had an affair with? Guess who? I've already told you the answer now. It's John Cena. So apparently, yes, that had something to do with some business dinner they had, and the hero will, of course, probably sort it out. And because he hasn't got a match of the pay-per-view, he needs to be involved in some storyline. And this had various backstage segments to it, didn't it, as well?
The sickening thing about this is that even though John Cena's not a Hell in a Cell, he may appear at the pay-per-view, but he was shown numerous times throughout this night, backstage, his boring promo in the ring. So this was absolutely horrible, because we're going back to the days when Cena was overly used, and now we're seeing it tonight.
At least he wasn't in the main event, which he's usually in, so that's one plus we can take from it, essentially. But one plus we cannot take from this Raw was Del Rio versus Zack Ryder in another one of their typically booked squash matches. Del Rio wins by submission, and then he seems to think that Zack Ryder is Randy Orton and thinks he's the Apex Predator, and yeah.
Two things about this is that we've already seen this match. The WWE are good at showing replay of matches, and the other thing about this is that I'm glad that Del Rio kept him down, locked him up, really showed him that he's in a much higher place than Zack Ryder and Randy Orton.
Yeah, the new Apex Predator, and calling Randy Orton a little girl, because that's great heel mic work there by Del Rio on SmackDown. We then get to our main event of the evening, which is CM Punk versus Sheamus in a champion versus champion match, with the added thing to it that was supposed to be some big TV ratings hike, I guess, that it was the largest lumberjack match ever. I mean, what the fuck was the point in that? Why does it matter the amount of lumberjacks there are, really?
Even though that lumberjack was worthless, they could not keep me in the ring even if they tried. The thing I did like about this was some of the wrestlers around the ring need to be on TV a lot more than they were.
Like who, for example? Wade Barrett?
Mason Ryan.
Mason Ryan? You're a fan of Mason Ryan, are you?
He's a wrestler who I could have seen going a long way, but the wrestler I want to see come back is one of the baddest heels there were, Mark Henry.
Push Mark Henry. I mean, if Terminator NJ wants to push him, guys, you know where that push is going to go. Exactly. He's going to go straight to the top. So, yeah. So, this is where, in my opinion, my push-ups and my crunches and my push-ups and my sit-ups all really worked well for this. Because I wasn't... Usually, I'd be very tired for the main event. And even though I felt this main event was kind of boring, in my opinion, at least I wasn't asleep for it. All that training worked. And hopefully, it will work in a couple of weeks. And I'll get Bray Wyatt back as well.
The thing about this is that it got a lot of time for a point that we all knew what was going to come eventually. The lumberjack was absolutely useless. They only started a few kicks here and there, but I really wasn't impressed by this match.
No, I didn't really think the match was that great either. But it got to a point where Big Show chokeslams Sheamus to allow Punk to get the victory. So Big Show finally gets a shot in on Sheamus, which is very rare these days in the way that Triple H loves to book Sheamus. And then you have Ryback coming in the ring and completely cleaning CM Punk out of the damn ring. Oh, what an entertaining sight that is. Someone else ending the show other than John frickin' Cena.
CM Punk getting the win was a really good spot. It's the champ looking strong over Sheamus, which was good. The thing I didn't really agree with this was that Ryback, for once again, has put down CM Punk. That's 2 weeks in a row where CM Punk has not been able to put Ryback down.
And I guess with Ryback's strong booking, it would be very hard to book CM Punk to actually come across on top. I thought it would have been a nice touch, and it would have been... People would have probably said it was predictable, but imagine if Ryback just went through all the heel jobbers outside of the ring, and that would have been a nice way of making him look very strong. But either way, Ryback comes on top on CM Punk again, making you believe that Ryback has to win this match, which means that if CM Punk wins, it will be that much more of a surprise. But there we go. That's another topic for another day. By the way, on the Wednesday topical video, me and NJ will be doing a video on whether or not we think Ryback or CM Punk should win at Hell in a Cell. I advise that you go watch that on Wednesday. It should be a very good one, as well as the Q&A tomorrow. What were your overall thoughts on this edition of Raw, Terminator NJ?
They're all worthless, repeated matches. The main priority was Hell in a Cell, and I guess in some cases this show did hype it up, but overall I just really weren't impressed, apart from some of the matches.
Yeah, I guess the thing is with me is that there's 6 matches of Hell in a Cell, and they were promoted okay, but once again, it's another one of those 3-hour Raws where it's kind of hard to get through, and even though there are some good segments, it's immediately overwritten by the fact that it's such a damn long show to get through, and it's very hard to get through. So, for me, this was another okay Raw up alongside last week's. I think Raw has been slightly improving lately, even though it's still quite hard to get through and is still suffering from the core problems it has done since it's become 3 hours. But I'll say this week's show had some good segments in it, had some good matches as well, but was generally an okay show in my opinion. So if you guys have any thoughts on the show, of course, put your opinions and comments on the show down in that comment section below. And I'm going to go train a little bit more. I'm going to let you end the video because I've got to go train a little bit now. Come on.
What I'm going to say for a go-home show that didn't impress me, I'm sick of tired of WWE trying to impress me when they fail every time. So what I'm going to say from this point on is that you will still see me in these reviews, just not full-time, because the WWE are failing to impress me, and I'm sure failing to impress the rest of you worthless mortals. So from me, Terminator NJ, I'll see you soon.